If you have played Pathfinder 2nd Edition long enough, the following scenario will feel very familiar to you. You and your party are out in this week's dungeon fighting something like, Midflits. The rolls have been rough in today's session, and it's your turn. You spend an action moving into position, one more action to reload your bow, and your third action to strike. The die rolls, and it's a 7. But wait, you have a hero point left. Now it's time to use it. You re-roll the die, and roll a 6. That's, anticlimactic. Hero points are a reroll mechanic in Pathfinder designed to give players a so-called meta currency to influence their dice rolls. However, in almost every group I've played in over the years, hero points would often be seen as disappointing. People feel like they never have enough of them, and when they use them, they often don't make your roll better. They don't feel heroic to people, and so you can find quite some discussion online on how to fix hero points and make them feel like they actually allow your character to be cool and heroic. Well, I am here today to say, screw that. Hero points are great just the way they are. In this video, I want to make the case for why hero points are fine and why your GM should just give you more. I will then finish the video by entirely undermining my own point and present you with some homebrew ideas on how to make hero points fit your table. Why would I do such a thing? Well, because I like to self-sabotage, and who are you to tell me not to? So, have a seat, grab a d20, and get ready for some rerolls. It's hero point time. Before we talk about anything else, let's talk about swinginess. Swinginess is a word you hear in the TTRPG space regularly. It describes how random outcomes on a game's resolution mechanic are, and it's a funny word to say. Swinginess. 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 Any core resolution mechanic using a single die has some degree of swinginess, which increases the bigger the die is. A d4 has a 25% chance of any number being rolled, a d10 has 10%, and a d20, the die we use in Pathfinder, 5%. 20 possible outcomes, each with equal odds. Our dice also don't have memories. They don't remember which results they have already given you. My math teacher would say that's just how probability works. But I believe dice are just cruel and actually enjoy mocking us with their randomness. My point is that Pathfinder is a game where every d20 roll is swingy, and rolling again will have the same odds of showing you any result possible on a d20. 1 in 20. That swinginess is, in my opinion, part of the problem people have with hero points. Using a hero point does not increase the odds to roll high. You are just rolling that same d20 again. It could be better. It could be worse. However, the other part of the problem people have is that you are now expending a resource, and a very precious one at that, and when it ends up not delivering a better outcome, well, it feels bad. This leads me to my main argument on why hero points are not a problem. It's how many you get in a session. Characters in Pathfinder start every session with 1 hero point and can earn more through the course of a session. At the end of the session, all hero points are reset, and everyone starts with 1 hero point again the next time. What can actually earn you hero points? Well, let's check the player core, page 413. The GM is in charge of awarding hero points. Usually, each character gets 1 hero point at the start of a session and can gain more later by performing heroic deeds, something selfless, daring, or beyond normal expectations. Okay, so the GM hands out hero points for heroic deeds. Does the GM core also have something to say on how to hand out hero points and how often? Actually, it does on page 57. In a typical game, You will hand out about 1 hero point during each hour of play after the first. For example, 3 extra points in a 4-hour session. If you want a more over-the-top game, or if your group is up against incredible odds and showing immense bravery, you might give them out at a faster rate, like 1 every 30 minutes, 6 over a 4-hour session. You might also give them out at a faster rate during a shorter session. Try to ensure each PC has opportunities to earn hero points and avoid granting all of the hero points to a single character. Brave last stands, protecting innocence, and using a smart strategy or spell to save the day could all earn a character a hero point. Look for those moments when everybody at the table celebrates or sits back in awe of a character's accomplishments. That's your cue to issue that character a hero point. Well, that's some pretty clear instructions, including how many hero points you should give out on average during a session. However, going by my experiences of having both been a player and a GM in dozens of games at this point, this is not how it goes at various tables. Hero points are given out at lower numbers, leading to them becoming a very precious resource that, like mentioned earlier, makes it feel bad when you spend it and roll lower than expected. What further amplifies this is that hero points also serve another function. You can burn all your hero points for a heroic recovery when your dying condition would increase, stabilizing you at 0 hit points and not increasing your wounded condition. This means some players like to hang on to 1 hero point, not spending it until absolutely necessary, and thus increasing the scarcity. I am personally not quite sure why many GMs are hesitant in handing out hero points. Part of it is that it might be easy to forget you can hand them out. I, for one, sure do. And another part might be the feeling that handing out too many might make the party too powerful. If the latter is the case, I want to tell my fellow GMs that I'm convinced having access to more hero points does not necessarily make your party more powerful. And it is because the D20 is a swingy die. If a hero point was, say, a flat bonus to the roll, handing out too many would definitely tip the balance. Pathfinder is a game in which small bonuses matter a lot. However, every hero point is a reroll, having the chance to be better or worse as dictated by the swinginess of the D20. It rewrites results, not necessarily improves them. It is this inherent swinginess that makes a reroll exciting, and getting more hero points just means your players will have more of these exciting moments. Providing your players with more hero points will make the resource less scarce and entices players to spend them more often. If those rolls end up being worse, there's less of a feels bad moment because you still have more hero points left, and you know more are coming. One final point I want to address, and it's really nitpicky and might paint me as some annoying smartass, is that I've seen people say hero points don't feel heroic. If I spend a hero point, surely my new outcome should feel heroic. I agree, but I think being heroic includes failure. Have you ever heard of a hero whose tale went by without any challenges? All of the great heroes we know went on quests and fulfilled tasks, and those didn't come without danger and hardship. To me, a hero point reroll that ends up worse than the original result is the mechanics telling me that this is a moment of hardship for my hero. For now, the dice have decided things are tough, but I know that every hero's story eventually has them recover and overcome their foes and fears. Eventually, my hero point reroll will be that big critical success, and I will look back at the struggles it didn't help my character out of earlier with a smile. Being a hero is not all natural 20s and critical successes. It's also a lot of natural ones and critical failures. So there you have it. Hero points are not bad, it's just that Pathfinder is a swingy game and you might not get enough hero points. Show your GM this video, tell them to give you more hero points, and come back to tell me how right I am. Oh, you don't think I'm right? You say you actually want to mitigate the swinginess of hero points and think my little spiel about a hero's journey, including challenges and the hero points rolling low, just enforcing that narrative, is pretentious nonsense? I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, and yes, I am a little bit pretentious, but okay, fine. I'll indulge you. My first suggestion is to change hero points in such a way that if the hero point reroll is lower than the original roll, you may use the original roll. This at least prevents players from making things worse by spending a resource. However, this might also incentivize players to use a hero point just to see if they can roll better, for example, to try and move a success to a critical success. If the roll is worse, they can still stick with the first one. Another option I like is to have hero points increase the degree of success by one step, instead of re-rolling. This gives players more control of the outcome and means that spending a hero point does not turn a critical failure into a critical success. This house rule means that hero points become more of a tactical resource and could make characters a bit more powerful if you hand out too many hero points. A player with enough hero points will gladly spend one to turn a regular hit into a critical hit, allowing combat to easily swing towards the party's favor. Finally, you could also use the Galactic Hero Points rules from Starfinder 2nd Edition, presented in its GM core on page 87. With this rule, any result on the hero point die lower than 10 is treated as a 10. A 9 becomes a 10, but a 12 is still a 12. This means a hero point reroll can never be lower than 10, and also not lower the degree of success by 1 due to a natural 1 on the reroll. These suggestions fix the swinginess of hero points, but how about some new rules to give out more hero points, or even tempt players into failing harder in exchange for a hero point? Let's start with one way to make sure players can help you as the GM give out more hero points. Once per session, a character gets a hero point for acting according to their edict or anathema. For most characters who are not clerics, edicts and anathema are an optional part of character creation, but I personally think they are helpful tools for role-playing. Awarding hero points for a character who sticks to their edicts or who gives in to their anathema and causes tension stimulates players to have their characters behave according to or act against their moral codes and creates some great role-playing moments. Talking about tension, you could hand out hero points for voluntarily making things worse. Once per session, a player can decide to turn a failure into a critical failure to earn a hero point. Voluntarily failing harder but being rewarded for it in a way is very fun to a lot of players. You should, however, include the caveat that if failing a roll critically would have no additional consequences, the player cannot decide to critically fail. This prevents players from earning a hero point by deciding to critically fail against a spell that has no additional effects on a critical failure, or on a roll that would not make things worse for them through an interesting complication on a critical failure. Finally, do you really just don't want to bother with handing out hero points? Well, one final house rule I suggest is having all characters start a session with the maximum of 3 hero points. They do not earn any additional points and thus have to decide when to spend their points. Hero points reset at the start of the next session. So there you have it. My view on why hero points are good the way they are, and suggestions on how you can adjust them if for some reason you don't agree with me. In all seriousness, I understand why people might not enjoy hero points as written, and I think it's a part of the rules where you can try some house rules without breaking the game too much. Definitely make sure to check with your table first if you want to try some of these options, just to make sure everyone is on board. Do you like hero points in Pathfinder 2nd Edition? Or do you use some house rules I have not mentioned in this video? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, stay safe, take care, and bye-bye!